The year was 586 BC. The gates of Jerusalem burned, and the cries of its people echoed through the valleys of Judah. Smoke rose where prayers once did, and in the midst of the ruin stood a man, alone, weeping, his name Jeremiah. He warned them, pleaded with them, spoke the words of God through blood and fire, but no one listened. And now, the city of David lay in ashes. How lonely sits the city that was full of people. How like a widow is she, who was great among the nations. She has become a slave, once adorned in gold, now clothed in sackcloth, once a beacon of covenant, now a symbol of judgment. But this is not just the fall of walls and towers, it is the fall of a people who turned away, and of a prophet who saw it all. Before the fire, before the chains, there was a voice, a prophet crying out in the streets of Jerusalem. Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, called by God before birth, condemned by kings, mocked by priests, hated by his own people. He warned of Babylon's rise, of destruction at the hands of a lion from the north. But his warnings were dismissed as treason, his visions as madness. Then the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth, and the Lord said to me, Behold, I have put my words in your mouth, to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 9 to 10. Yet he did not stop. For 40 years he cried, preached and prophesied, Repent. But people chose false prophets, and the king chose pride. And so the judgment he foresaw came, slow, certain, and sealed in the stars. In the 9th year of Zedekiah, king of Judah, the earth trembled with hoofbeats. The iron wheels of Babylon turned towards Jerusalem. Nebuchadnezzar came not as a messenger, but as judgment incarnate. He encamped outside the gates, his armies like locusts, his banners blotting out the sun. Inside the walls, fear, famine, division. The city cracked under silence before the first stone fell. Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, and Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, my servant, and will utterly destroy them. Jeremiah 25, verse 9. Jeremiah watched as the heavens darkened and the gates shuddered. He warned again, Do not resist. Surrender and you shall live. But no one listened. The king wavered, the priests mocked, and the wall held. For now. The summer of the 11th year, the walls of Jerusalem groaned, then gave way. For 18 months the siege starved the soul of the city. Children grew silent, the temple songs ceased. On the 9th day of the 4th month, Babylon breached the holy walls. Fire leapt from stone, blood filled the streets. The house of the Lord pillaged. Then they burned the house of God, broke down the wall of Jerusalem, burned all its palaces, and destroyed all precious possessions. 2 Chronicles chapter 36, verse 19. Zedekiah fled through the night, caught in the plains of Jericho, his sons slain before his eyes, his own eyes pulled out. And Jeremiah wept, not for the fall of stone, but for the fall of a people who would not hear. The city of David was no more, and the smoke of Zion rose to heaven. Chains rattled in the smoke of Zion. From nobles to children, thousands were bound and marched east, exiles in a foreign land. The chosen people became captives. From Jerusalem to Babylon, the river of sorrow began to flow. The temple lay in ash, the ark of the covenant vanished, and the question burned in every heart, had God abandoned his people? By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. Psalm 137 verse 1. But one man remained, not to escape, but to endure. Jeremiah the weeping prophet walked among the ruins, bruised by rejection, mocked by kings, yet still speaking the words of God. He had warned them, pleaded with them, and now, alone with the dust, he wrote his sorrow in ashes. He did not flee, he did not fall, he stayed. For even in desolation, the voice of God does not fall silent. Among the ashes, where hope had died, a whisper remained, not of despair, but of return. Jeremiah, the prophet of lamentation, became the prophet of promise. He spoke of a covenant, not written on stone, but upon the heart, of a people restored, of a new Jerusalem. Then I will give them a heart to know me, that I am the Lord, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. Jeremiah chapter 24, verse 7. Though the city was burned and its people scattered, God was not done. He spoke through the fire, through the exile, through the tears of a prophet who stayed behind. And in Babylon, in a forgotten land, the exiles began to remember. Zion may have fallen, but the story was not over. For what if the greatest promise is born not in glory, but in ruin? Jerusalem fell, but her memory did not. The voice of Jeremiah, once ignored, now echoes through time, in temples rebuilt, in scriptures preserved, in every tear shed for what was lost. His lament became a lesson, his sorrow a song for generations to remember. Through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Lamentations chapter 3, verses 22 to 23. From the ashes of Zion rose a people who would never forget, and a hope that could never be burned. The world changed. Empires came and went, but the cry of the prophet still stirs the soul. And today, when cities tremble and nations fall, we remember Jerusalem. For in every fall, there is a voice that cries, not of judgment, but of return.